Welcome to this Google Hangout. The purpose of today's Google Hangout. There's a lot of you I know out there that may have been considering coming to the meditation classes, or some of you live too far away to come to the meditation classes. So I wanted to do this short video just to give you a little bit of insight as to what it might be like to come to one of my meditation classes. So I think there's a lot of stigma around the word meditation. I think sometimes when we hear the word meditation, we can think straight away the associations that come into our mind about meditation can make us instantly switch off and think, no, I can't do that. That's something I've tried before and it didn't work for me. I like to feel that what I offer is something a little bit different, so that if you came to one of my classes, you might walk away feeling, actually, that's nothing like I'd originally thought it was going to be. So a little bit about why I'm doing this video and about myself, really. So I want to, like I said, give you some insight as to what it might be like in one of my meditation classes and why it's important to come to the classes. So I always encourage my students to take on a daily practice. And then particularly for beginners, beginning the practice with only maybe a minute at a time. So a minute every morning. So when we start our day from that frame of mind, then it can literally change the energy pattern of the whole day. So if we start our day in stillness and in a relaxed, open frame of mind, then that means that the day, the energy of the day, can follow on in a much more organized and relaxed fashion than if we wake up in the morning, drink caffeine, turn on the news and be introduced to all of the negativity that's happening in the world before we've even brushed our teeth in the morning. That's going to set the brainwave pattern in a completely different pattern for the day. So that's kind of why I feel it's important for a beginner to start a daily practice and to really keep the time short, so that rather than thinking it's a chore to have to sit for 15 minutes in stillness, make it so that you only sit for a minute a day to begin with, and set your alarm for a minute's time, and then you'll literally be wanting more. You'll be craving that headspace that you get from that minute more and more, so that the meditation practice becomes something that you can't wait to get to, rather than something that you feel, oh, do I really have to do that again today? So that's how I always encourage my new students to begin, and then obviously going forwards into a lifelong daily practice. And for me personally, it's completely transformed my whole life. So I started my life ever since I can remember. I've always been interested in the sort of metaphysical side of life, and been really open to all of the alternatives out there. So I was really interested in astrology and just space and stars and planets and all that, and even classical music as a child. So very right brain kind of orientation. And then throughout my life, that interest just grew and grew, and then all the other kind of aspects of healing and metaphysics came into my sphere. So I practiced a lot with crystals and energy healing techniques as a teenager. And then throughout my early adulthood, I kind of veered off my path a little bit, as most of us do, with what society seems to class as normal behaviour. A lot of going out partying, drinking, and just generally not feeling very well. And then the conflict of wanting to help people in a healing capacity and not being well myself was those two worlds were just too far apart for me to continue living in that way. So I started to commit more and more to the more positive practices. So putting more of my energy into paying attention to what I'm eating, how I'm exercising, what I'm thinking. You know, feeding the mind a diet of positivity is just as important as feeding the body a diet of, you know, positive food. So through my commitment to change my ways and through my new altered perceptions and brainwave patterns, I was able to attract into my life all of the teachers that I needed to take my practice to the next level, and then eventually be in the position I'm in today, where I can teach and guide and heal others. And I do firmly believe that we teach through our example. So we don't have to be literally in a student-teacher relationship to be teaching. I believe that we're all always teaching through our examples, so we're teaching through our behaviour. So the main principles of my classes are that there's two thought systems. There's love and there's fear. And we teach one or the other. We're always teaching by our example. And so we're either teaching love is real or we're teaching that fear is real. And so that's something that we become more and more aware of through the group practices. And I do believe that even though I said, you know, I always advise my students to take on a daily practice for a minute or so every morning to begin with, until you're really craving that time to yourself, that headspace, and then eventually allowing yourself to up that time, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes. Now I'm at the stage where about half an hour every morning and half an hour every evening is just enough. You know, I always want to do more, but obviously I can't spend my whole life in meditation, so we have to be able to function in the everyday world. And so through my meditation practice, I've been able to remain in a very grounded, present state throughout my day-to-day activities. So technically I am meditating all day. And so meditation really is about present moment awareness, being fully present with what's right in front of you in any given moment, being fully present with the person who's with you in that moment, not checking our iPhone every 5 minutes and being obsessed with what's going on social media, or even the stories that we're telling ourselves in our minds, which if we question them, we can unravel and really discover that a lot of it's not even true. So what's really true is what's real and what's right in front of you in any given moment. So the more of your presence that you can bring to whatever it is that you're engaging in, then the more successful that you'll be in general as a being in this world. So that's kind of the message that I want to bring. So myself personally, my day-to-day life is a lot different today than it was maybe, say, 10, 15 years ago. At the moment, I'm currently living in a complete wellness environment. So I sleep on a magnetic mattress at night. One of the things I wanted to touch on was that a lot of the people who come to me, whether it's for meditation practice or if they come to me for a healing treatment, that a lot of the people I treat have got sleeping problems. So it was funny because when I first started my healing career, if you want to call it that, a couple of years ago, I used to think, what will I specialize in? And so I just continued staying in the moment, saying yes to life, whatever life was presenting me with at any given day, just really kind of saying yes to those things which resonated deeply inside. So being in the moment, noticing the opportunities that presented themselves, and then saying yes to the ones that felt right, led me to exactly where I needed to be, which is where I am today, in a position where I can help so many people. And what I've noticed over the years is that the trend, the pattern that's sort of played itself out throughout my career, is that most of the people have come to me for sleeping problems. And not only, if they didn't come to me for sleeping trouble initially, they may have come for something else, but underlying whatever it is that they came to see me about, there's a sleep issue there. So personally, I sleep like an absolute baby. So I've never really had any trouble sleeping. The only times I can remember where I did have trouble sleeping in the past were when I was partying too much, basically. And through my study of Chinese medicine, I've come to understand various reasons for that, which I can go into in more detail maybe in other videos, or if you'd like to come and visit me or Skype call me for a session yourself, if that's something you're struggling with. But basically, personally, today, I sleep on a magnetic mattress, and I feel that that has a lot to do with how well I sleep currently. Like I said, I live in a complete wellness environment, so I've been blessed to be introduced to some technologies which combine the best of nature, which we're all lacking in this modern society, with all of the busyness of today, all of the toxicity, all of the concrete jungles that we live in. We are cutting ourselves off more and more from that magnetic, that healing magnetic field of the earth, which is there to nourish us, which is there to support us. And if we give ourselves enough nature, the body is actually in the perfect environment to be able to heal itself, because the body ultimately knows how to heal itself. So whether you come to me for healing or meditation, what we're actually doing through any session is putting the body back into a state where it can actually heal itself. So nature does that for us, and because of, like I said, the toxicity and all of the busyness of the modern day living, that the magnetic field of the earth is actually diminishing, because there's lots of different reasons, but basically the wellness environment which I'm living in today literally takes the best of nature's best and puts it together with the most advanced cutting edge technology, and it's cutting edge, and the technologies are patented as well, so you can't actually get them anywhere else. So if you want more details on any of that, then please do get in contact with me. So like I said, I sleep on the magnetic mattress. I breathe in negative ions, fully oxygenated, charged air all night as I sleep. I have a light on my bedside table which is emitting the full light spectrum. So even the electromagnetic frequencies that we get from the sun itself, the light spectrum, is only a short portion of the full entire light spectrum. And so the light which I have, which is part of this wellness system, is actually the full spectrum of light. So it's really good for helping with things like depression, with brain function. Obviously I'm studying as well as working full time, so my brain is active a lot of the time, and then being able to study in this light, it helps me to retain information. It keeps me, in the morning when the alarm goes off, it's like a light which gradually lights up, so it literally wakes you up gradually and takes you gently out of that sleep, rather than an alarm clock going off and giving you a heart attack, pulling you out of a deep sleep. It's not really the best way to start the day. So when you're reading and you're retaining information, it's really good to have that light. And also I suffered from a lot of headaches when I first started my acupuncture university degree, because I was just on the computer so much more than usual. I'd come from a background of working with horses, so I was outdoors in nature in all weathers all day every day. And then to go from that to intense study and being on the computer for long periods of time, then obviously the light was helping with the headaches that I was experiencing. So yeah, and then fundamentally, as part of that wellness environment, is the water that I drink. It's highly filtered, it's alkalized, it's ionized, and it's just the most restorative healing water that you can get today. So this all comes as part of a complete lifestyle choice, a lifestyle package that I've invested in, and that I feel is my kind of mission on this planet today to make available to everybody, because the situations that we're facing with toxicity and just the way that the world's going in general are only going to get worse. And so we need some support for our health. A lot of the health problems that we see today are a result of this electromagnetic pollution and stress, and also the busy, fast-paced way of life that we have today. And also, a lot of people don't realize, but some of the major health problems that we've got, like heart disease, cancers, these conditions can actually be traced back to a lack of sleep. So if you are experiencing sleep problems, then it's definitely something I can help with, and it's definitely something that might be underlying any other health conditions that you might be experiencing. So it's just something to become aware of. Okay, so that's me basically, and like I said, when I started to commit to my daily practice, when I started to reorganize my energy field and recalibrate and really become the kind of to choose which kind of way I want to spend my day. So to be empowered to choose how my day is going to go. You know, we all have that choice. We can see things two ways. Like I said, the two thought systems, there's love or there's fear. So we can see through the eyes of love, which means that every encounter and every circumstance, and whether we judge it good or bad, is there as an opportunity for optimum learning, growth, healing, and ultimately forgiveness. Or we can see through the eyes of fear, and we become the victims of the world that we see. And so every morning we have that choice. We choose which way to perceive the world today and which sort of day we'll have as a result. And that's an empowering thing. And the majority of my work, the underlying essence of everything that I offer, is empowerment. So I can empower you to live in a more aligned way with nature, aligned way with the laws of the universe, and a much more empowered way to choose how you're going to respond to the events of your day, and ultimately how you're going to experience your life. And so that's what I prefer to think of myself as, offering vehicles for empowerment rather than this kind of teacher-student relationship or the therapist-patient relationship. It's like you may become dependent on the teacher or the healer, whereas I like to rather give you tools to take away and empower yourself, and not only to empower yourself and your own life, but to be able to empower others with the same tools. So that's what I offer. And so, on the note of two ways of seeing the world, through the eyes of love and the eyes of fear, I teach a lot from the metaphysical text, A Course in Miracles. And I just wanted to share with you a short passage from the course. And it's quite a well-known, famous passage, and I did share it on my Facebook page yesterday as well. Basically, it starts, "There is a way of living in the world that is not here, although it seems to be. You do not change appearance, though you smile more frequently. Your forehead is serene, your eyes are quiet, and the ones who walk the world as you do recognize their own. Yet those who have not yet perceived the way will recognize you also, and believe that you are like them, as you were before." So that is what I'm offering a new way of being in the world. I'm offering a new way of seeing the world. I'm offering a new relationship to your own challenges, to be able to see everything through the eyes of love, and to transform your life and the lives of those around you through doing so. And so, taking it back to really back to basics, what you can expect from a meditation coaching session or class with me is basically the principles of energy work. And again, empowering you to become the architect of your own energy field. So to understand that everything is energy, and even every thought you think is energy, and that energy can be measured. We measure energy on a scale of 0 to 1,000, where 500 is love. So we aim to raise our own energetic frequency from the vibration where it may currently be, where there's some areas of life where we feel stuck, or there's some health challenges that just don't seem to go away, and to raise our own energetic frequency up to the level of love, because that vibrational frequency, 500 on a scale of 0 to 1,000, is where true miracles and true healing occurs. And so when I talk about miracles, I talk a lot about miracles. Actually, the Thursday evening classes are called Miraculous Living. And so this is the way of being in the world that I'm talking about, that I offer you. And so there's a difference between magic and miracles. Okay, magic is when you try and change something on the outside. And because everything outside of you is subject to change, that's also subject to change. So magic is trying to reorganize your external life to look the way you think it should look, and then becoming attached to a certain way of things being, and then becoming distraught when things ultimately, because they will change, when they change. So miracles is quite the opposite. Miracles is an internal shift, which is permanent. It's a new way of seeing. It's a new way of being. So it doesn't matter what the external circumstances look like. Your internal state is unshakable peace, certainty of purpose, and just vibrate in pure love, so that you feel happy, genuinely happy, and that you can uplift those around you. Wherever you go, you walk into the room and you're the dominant force. You're the one that uplifts everyone around you. So it sounds quite nice to me, and I've experienced it, and it feels quite nice to me, so that's what I'm offering, and I hope it sounds quite nice to you too. So if you come to one of my classes, I'll teach you the basics of energy management, so that you can manage your own internal state. You can manage your own energy field. So if you think, for example, of the times where you may have tried to meditate before, you might have had a busy day at work, you may have been looking at a computer screen all day, and then you come home and you sit cross-legged on the floor and you try to think of nothing. And I'd say it's quite impossible that that's going to happen, because we think up to 60,000 thoughts a day, and those thoughts become like a gravitational force field. They can literally suck you down. And even when you think of the people that you've been surrounded by all day, maybe in the office your colleagues aren't that positive, that's like a dominant energy field. Their energy, their collective negativity is like a gravitational force field that's literally pulling your energy down. So the first thing I would like to advise is that if you are going to take up a solo practice, that you introduce some movement before you try and sit in stillness, so that if you get your energy moving, okay, you can literally through movement change your breath pattern, and through changing your breath pattern, your brainwave pattern then will also change. So it might be going for a walk in nature, it might be you might put on your favorite song on YouTube and just dance around your living room for 5 minutes and then sit. And then notice the difference in your state of mind before and after. And obviously the longer you move, so 10 minutes or more, then you will notice that your breath pattern really smooths out. And as your breath and breathing smooth out, it's going to smooth out your brainwave patterns and also clear and open your mind. And then the next step is to get grounded. Okay, because we're so up in our heads, and I like to teach that your energy follows your mind. So if you're thinking, worrying about the future, regretting the past, whatever it is that consumes you, then all that energy, that life force energy that your body needs for healing and other purposes, basically is all rising up into the head. And so heat rises. So as all this energy gets rising up and stuck in the head, then we're going to experience lots of things like stiff necks, shoulder pain, headaches, and a lot of heat in the head, which really is the basic reason why most people can't sleep very well, especially if you have trouble falling asleep. It's because there's too much thinking, too much heat in the head, so you really need to direct some of that energy downwards. So we do that by becoming aware of how we feel in the present moment in our physical bodies. So we do a body scan. We breathe into any areas of discomfort or tension in our body. We become aware of the feet and literally bring that energy, ground that energy down into the body. And we become very present. We become very aware of the sounds of the present moment. We become very aware of everything that's just real, everything that's really going on in the here and now. We spend a few minutes in that way, and then we focus on the heart. So we've got our energy moving, we've got our energy grounded, we've become really present, and then we open the heart. We've opened the heart by bringing to mind the image of someone or something that we love unconditionally. And as we see that image stand before us in our mind's eye, our energy will naturally expand, our heart will open, and our energy will naturally move outwards towards the image that we hold. And so by activating that vibration of love within our hearts, that opens up all of the energy channels in the body so that all of your life force energy can flow unhindered, and that it can go to the areas of the body that it's needed to for healing. So that's how we do it. We get moving, we get grounded, we get present, and then we open the heart. All the channels are open, and then it's much easier to sit in stillness. So I think that's everything that I wanted to touch on for this short video. So if you want to know more, you can find me, Carolyn Sykes, on my Facebook page, Meditate with Carolyn. Actually, no, I've changed the name of it, sorry. It's Meditation Coaching with Carolyn. You can find me personally on Facebook, Carolyn Lucky Girl Sykes. You can find my websites, yinyangholistics.co.uk and infinitegraceevents.com. And yeah, get in touch, and I hope to see you at a class sometime soon. Thanks for watching. Happy meditating. Take care.